Good morning, listeners. Welcome back to Nuts and Bolts with Thomas and Art. Today on our show, we're going to have Mr. Andrew Elliott and Miss Abigail Hawk here with me to talk about the digital age in business today. And we've all done our fair share of interviews with different business professionals on the type of writings that they use and how digital writing has affected their business today. So I hope you all enjoy the show and relax and enjoy Nuts and Bolts. Welcome back, guys. With me now, we got Abigail and Andrew. So, guys, I know that the usefulness of digital business writing has really progressed over the years with email and social media and websites being predominant now because with emails, you are quicker to respond to people and problems that they have. And with social media, you can get your business out there more and be able to, progress in the business world as a whole. And with just other different types of websites you can get more information out there quicker instead of having people always have to, you go to them or them come to you and figure out everything. So, Abigail, just tell us a little bit about how writing has progressed from let's say 50 years ago to now, and tell me how everything is now and how it is better.
Well, Thomas, first I would like to thank you for having me on this podcast. This is great. I love listening to it every week, and I know you've got a lot of listeners. So
well, thank you.
It's a good thing going here, Thomas. Really, I know we just came out with a great brochure all of us collaborated on that really just dives into the then and now of digital business writing. Back then there really wasn't any digital part of it. It was, you had typewriters and then you progress onto some computers, but not everyone was lucky enough to have a computer. We definitely didn't have laptops. We didn't have social media or email or anything of that nature. So let's say you want to write up a memo or something to give out to everyone in your company. You really had to type it up or write it up handwritten. And then, if there was something you wanted to change, you kind of had to start from scratch. One of the things that we talk about in our great brochure, you should all really pick up a copy of it. One of the great things we talk about is how back then, if you wanted to change your audience but send out the same memo, you had to start with that memo and go in individually and change, different pronouns or different words, different vocabulary that you use to make it appropriate. But now today, since everything is digital, it's very easy to change that. If you've got an email that you are going to send to maybe the executive of the company, but you'd like to send it to, the lower workers, maybe in a factory, you can easily change the tonality on that by just going in there, deleting, copy and pasting some things, and just send out an email blast really quickly. So that's just kind of, a little bit of how it's changed from then to now.
Okay, thank you, Abigail. Andrew, would you just give us a little synopsis on tone and how that has changed over time, and how people have used different tones and mean different things, and just what types of tone out there are there?
Well, like Abigail said, thank you for having me on, Tommy.
No problem, man.
And tone, it's always been important in business writing because, you have to, when it comes to business writing, you got to be sincere, you got to be confident so people actually listen to you. But as with digitalization, quicker communication has brought around a lot of change in tone, especially with people want more succinct and more concise, straightforward word choice. And that's definitely brought around change. And also, with different audiences, especially with quicker communication, you can reply to different audiences a lot quicker, like Abigail touched on. And with that, it's very important to realize with all the different audiences, you have to go through maybe a different email, different memo, and change your tone from email to email.
Now, could you help and describe what type of different audiences out there, what type of audiences as a professional would you be writing to?
Well, it really depends on your field. Just a simple, corporate businessman, you could get anything from your boss, right, to clients, to even people who are below you if you're higher up on the food chain.
Okay, I know. Nice. Yeah. I know all of us have to deal with emails in our field and how emails have affected us. I know in my field I've talked to Mr. Greg Miller, and he said emails are a great way to, incorporate quicker communication, which allows him for, when he's at the office from 8 to 4, it allows him to reply faster to clients. But also when he's at home, he can check on his smartphone and get on his phone and, reply to emails there. That way he's not always disconnected from it. He's still able to respond and take care of problems, even when he's at home or even when he's at the job at the desk. And it allows for better communication. And also, I know, like he said, that if an email goes on for 2 to 3 emails, he sends a phone call he calls a person, giving a personal connection. So he kind of uses a mixture of old techniques with phone calls and new techniques with emails. So I just want to know how you two in your fields have experienced that. Let's start with you, Abigail.
Well, I was lucky enough to interview my current boss, Justin Lewis. Really great guy. He's owned Bluegrass Indoor Karting for about 5.5 years now. He's the owner. He runs it, he manages it, all of that jazz. And in our interview, he did bring up emails a lot, but he also brought up the fact that in his previous job, they would do emails, but it was sort of like trading of commodities really quickly across different, states and countries. And one of the things that they did, they actually used AOL Instant Messenger, which I thought was very interesting because instead of having, a 50 email long chain, they would just go back and forth like that. But he brought up, that wouldn't be appropriate in the business that he's in today because it's more professional, maybe to send an email and then say, I'll call you later today to talk, or would you like to meet at this time for lunch, or so on and so forth. And, one of the great things about email, like I said, is you can take an email that you send to one person, change it a little bit, and send it to other people. And I got to look at some of his emails that he sent. He let me look at one that he sent to the people in charge of our social media marketing, just kind of outlining new promotions that we were sending out. And then he took that email and just kind of changed it up, made it a little bit lighter, a little more funny, put in some jokes in there, and sent it to the employees. So you can see how the digitization of that writing has made it possible for him to just kind of adjust to the audience.
Sounds like Justin's got a little bit of knowing what he's going on over there.
Definitely.
Yeah. Andrew, tell us a little bit about your experiences with your interviewee, and tell us a little bit about him.
Well, I was lucky enough to interview Mary Ryder. She owns her own fitness studio, Move Your Body Fitness, and we discussed emails quite a bit. And she would say, on an average day, she might send 150 emails. Mm-hmm. Other days, not as much. But really, it just depends. But the thing that she really focused on was audience. With her emails and how, because she might have a dude, 25-year-old dude who wants personal training sessions, and at the same time she's emailing some, soccer mom who just wants to do Zumba. So there's a lot of varying audiences she had to talk to, and that's where digitization comes in. Being able to email all these different things very quickly, and also the other thing is one thing I really noticed talking about is she's very informal with her emails, which was different than most corporate settings. Mm-hmm. And it was almost like what Abigail said, she could just add in jokes or things like that, whereas her other maybe newsletters and stuff were more formal.
You got into formality with her emails. Let's talk about just different type of writing styles in these 3 different business worlds. I know mine is a larger corporation. Abigail's also a small corporation, and also Andrew's is a smaller corporation. I know with Greg and his larger corporation that he uses more formal approach to things and more, trying to get the message across with as few mistakes as possible. When it comes to his employees, he's cutting up, he's having fun, he's doing things that a boss should do because he is the COO of Mid-America Rail Storage, which is over in Indiana. And it allows for his formality and different types of styles for him to just be have a wide variety. I know when he makes his storage plans and when he makes presentations, he's formal and very, very business appropriate. But with his emails, he's also, at the same point to where he's at the in like the personal and almost informal but business formal type of presentation. So Abigail and Andrew, just tell us a little bit more about writing styles. Andrew, since you've already started with formality and Mary's writing style, just give us a little bit more on hers.
Well, like I said, hers is more informal, but I think that's just the business itself is a little bit more laid back, being a fitness studio. But also, we touched on purpose. And for her, a lot of her purpose for emailing basically everything was informational or advertising. Even current clients she had, it might be to answer a question about an upcoming event or a specific class. Potential clients, obviously, you're trying to get them in the door. So that was the majority of her purpose. Like I said, varying audiences as well led to different tones. And but majority of the tone was definitely informal.
Okay, Abigail, can you just give us a little bit more on Justin's formality and writing styles that he used throughout his business?
Like I said, this is one of the great things about the digital world of business writing is that when he is sending those kinds of emails to people at the businesses that manage our social media and our advertising and our website, it's nice that he can be formal with them and then take that email and change it up and send it, kind of more lighthearted to us. But, I also want to touch on, some purpose too, like Drew did, because one of the other great things that comes with digital writing is, Justin can draft up, an email blast with information about, I know one of our upcoming events is we call it a Turkey 100. It's like a race for Thanksgiving, and, that's a big moneymaker for us. So he can draft up a pretty big email blast and then just easily copy and paste most of the information from the email blast into, Facebook, create a Facebook spread. He can copy and paste that, put it in an email to put it in an email to send to the people that run our website so they can put it on there. So, a lot of purposes, like Drew said, just advertising, because that really is, the digital and social media advertising really is the life of business now, especially for smaller businesses. And that's very easy to see in some of the things that I looked at of Justin's.
Well, Abigail, Andrew, I'd like to thank you for your time today. Unfortunately, that's all we have for today. Guys, I'd like for all of us to give a nice little round of applause to Abigail and Andrew for being here. See you all next week on Nuts and Bolts with Thomas and Art. We'll be discussing writing styles in general. Please tune in. We'll have a riveting discussion. Thank you.